lot of fans here. A lot of people out here read The Anxious Generation. How to Break Up with Your Phone. Yeah. I mean, Jonathan, your previous book, The Anxious Generation, really sparked a huge conversation all over the world about the effects that social media and our smartphones have on our kids. Talk about what you've observed since the book came out.
Yeah. Well, so when the book came out in 2024, I'd focused on the effects of social media on teen mental health. And so one thing I've discovered is that I grossly understated the damage that's being done, because since then we've got a lot more evidence about the cognitive deficits, the inability to pay attention, especially because of short videos. There's a lot more research now that short videos truly are rotting brains. I mean, it's not a joke. It is truly, well, okay, it's not literally rotting brains, but it is certainly making them work less well.
And not the Daily Show short videos, correct? Those are good for the brain.
Those are educational.
All those other garbage videos.
Real news is helpful. And then the other thing that we also know now is that test scores are going down and IQ is going down. We didn't know that a few years ago around the world. So 50 years of progress in education to 2012 ended, and now test scores are going down. And so the damage from this phone-based childhood is far beyond what I said in The Anxious Generation. That's the downside.
Okay.
Can I give you the upside too?
Yeah, please,
okay.
By all means.
The upside is that as soon as the book came out, mothers around the world stood up and said, let's go.
Yeah. It's always the mom.
They were ready. So just in the first 2 years, in the first year, we got 40 US states have put limits on phones. 20 did it right, phone free for the whole day. Australia is the first country in the world to raise the age to 16 for social media. And just in the last 4 weeks, a dozen countries have said they're going to follow. So we are at a global turning point.
Okay, this is good momentum. Catherine, you wrote a book called How to Break Up with Your Phone and The Power of Fun. Now, you're very passionate about the idea of kids and adults setting aside their phones to embrace fun. Explain this elusive concept of fun. What is this, do you speak?
I have an entire Venn diagram, but I will not go into that right now. But I would say that, yes, I broke up with my own phone. I realized, oh my goodness, I need to figure out how to fill my time. And that's how I wrote The Power of Fun. And what I realized is that the tech companies are promising us and our children that their products are fun. But that's actually fake fun. Because what real fun is the feeling that you get when you're with people in real life together, totally connected, having a playful experience.
And the two of you joined forces to write this incredible book, The Amazing Generation. I have a 10-year-old at home. I already gave it to him. I mandated him to read for a certain amount of time, but I will tell you that when his time was up, he continued to read. So you're doing something right. Here's what I love about this book is you don't water it down for the kids. You give it to them straight. You say, if you don't own your life, tech will own you. What went behind the decision to be so honest and straightforward?
Yeah. Well, the challenge for us was how to make a version of the book for kids. And I sure can't write for kids. And so we were looking for a co-author, and I'd met Catherine in part from seeing her amazing TED Talk on the power of fun. And it was really Catherine's idea about how to make this a book that kids would actually enjoy. And that I'm thrilled to hear that your son actually enjoyed it. Can I just suggest next time don't mandate it, just like put it in front of him and be a little more subtle. But anyway, back to Catherine.
All right, don't dad-splain to me, okay? Just trying my best here. Should I slip it in his lunchbox? Is that what you do?
Very subtle.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Catherine figured out how to put in a graphic novel, how to put in all kinds of testimonials from older kids, and the net effect we're here. Like you look at the Amazon reviews, kids are reading it and then they're saying, "Mom, I don't want a smartphone when I start middle school." So we're just really thrilled, and it was Catherine's idea how to do that.
I appreciate that. But I think that's really what's been so exciting, because we were just talking about what is a win for this book. And as many people may know, the Anxious Generation talks about getting phones out of schools, more independence, free play, and responsibility in the real world, and then having kids not have smartphones till at least least high school and not have social media till at least 16. Well, the ultimate win is if kids decide that for themselves. And so that was really the goal of this book. And we told them the truth. You know, I think that's why kids are reacting to it in the way they are, where they're actually making these decisions because they realize we're being manipulated, and they don't like to be manipulated. And so it's truly really exciting to hear from parents and families who feel like for the first time ever they're on the same side when it comes to screens.
It was really remarkable to see all of the feedback from young people, from teenagers, from kids in their 20s who were looking back. Were you surprised by the willingness of young people to give up their phones and say, you know what, this is what I want, my life is better?
Well, based on How to Break Up with Your Phone, I would say I wasn't surprised that when people actually put their phones down and reconnect with real life, that they tend to realize it is better and that it's actually easier than they had feared. I think, though, that I'm personally very excited, and I think you'd agree, to just see how quickly the younger generation has accepted this message and gotten excited about it. We frame this basically as an invitation to Gen Alpha, which is the younger kids these days, to join this growing rebellion of young people who are standing up against big tech and deciding they want to have more real friendship and more real freedom and real fun. And so it's been really thrilling to see that kids are taking that up and saying, yeah, that is what I want.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we want our children to put the smartphones down, does that mean that we, the adults, also have to put the smartphones down? Because that's going to be a deal breaker for us. For them, I'm sorry, for them.
Yeah. Okay. I won't do the dad-splaining thing here and
No, it's
criticize
okay.
you, but I'll just...
I asked for it.
Yeah. So, you know, a lot of us, we're using our phones all the time. We say, but mine is for work. Kids can actually understand that. They can actually understand that they're different. They can understand that, you know, maybe you have some habits that are for adults. The important thing is to structure space and time in your house. Because what happened when these things came in is they're just everywhere all the time. There is no structure to space and time. And so you got kids sitting at the dinner table, kids sitting on the toilet, kids walking out the door, you know, always on the phone. Put a stop to that. Make it clear there are times when we have these things and there are times when we don't. So the easiest, of course, are meal times. That needs to be an absolute no phones at the table, even if you want to just check something. And the most important one of all is no screens in the bedroom after a certain time. If your kids are younger, I would actually say start with the rule, no screens of any kind in the bedroom ever. I wish I had done that with my kids, but of course, you know, going through COVID, the habits got formed. So there's a lot you can do to structure space and time that will really convey to your kid that you don't always have this.
Right. All right. Okay. So here's one thing I want to just bring up, because as a parent, I think we see how the way that screens affect our kids, and we desperately want to take them away, but it can be really challenging, and sometimes parents feel like they're backed into a corner because their kids' friends all have phones, or the school hasn't done a school ban, and so you're hesitant to pull your kid out and ostracize them from their friends. How much of the onus falls on the parent and the teachers, and how much falls on these tech companies and our leaders to do the right thing?
In any rational world where you had a consumer product that was used by 95% of all children, that had killed thousands of them, that had gotten to the point where 25% of the girls say that it has damaged their mental health, that has gotten to the point where Snapchat gets 10,000 reports of sextortion, not a year, a month, at least that was the case in 2022. In any rational world, if there was such a consumer product, it would have been sued out of existence or at least made an adult-only product.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't live in that world. We live in a world where wealthy industries can just pay not even that much money to buy huge amounts of influence in Congress and block anything. But the states are acting. The states are much more independent. That's why we're making so much progress in the states, and the rest of the world is acting. So I think we're going to win on this eventually, and the companies are going to have to bear some responsibility. Of course, in Los Angeles right now, they're on trial for the first time. They're facing jury. You know, thousands of kids are dead, and they've never had an answer for it. So I think justice will come. But until then, we all have to play a part. So parents have responsibilities, schools need to do their part, and the amazing thing is that now kids are actually rising up and doing their part.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a part of this book that I think is so inspiring. You don't just approach it in terms of taking something away. You show what's on the other side of it, your life, your childhood. This is what's on the other end. Explain what the Rebel Code is.
Yeah, so as I was mentioning, there is a growing youth rebellion of young people who have decided either that they are going to choose not to use these things to begin with, or they've realized I have regrets about my own youth and I want to live a different way. And they really are rebels because they are standing up against big tech and just going their own path. And so we wanted to try to put their philosophy into words that other people could follow. And so that's the Rebels Code. And the basic idea is to use technology as a tool. Just don't let it use you. We're not Luddites. We're not saying that technology is all bad, but we are all being used by technology right now. And then the second part of the Rebels Code is fill your life with real friendship, real freedom, and real fun. And I think that that's something that's incredibly important for kids, but also for all of us adults, too.
I'd just like to add on to what Catherine said. This all makes so much more sense if you stop focusing on the phones and you focus instead on childhood. What is a healthy human childhood? And everybody here who's over 35 was out to...
You wouldn't understand.
Sorry, can't say that I am. Don't Google it.
Well, if you had an older sister, she probably went out and played.
Yes, yes.
But, yeah. But if you keep your eye on child, and that's what this is really about, and that's why I think your son is going on, because it's not just, oh, don't do this, kids.
Right.
It's, have you ever seen movies that took place in the 80s and 90s? You ever see kids out having fun, having adventures? You can have that, and kids know that it exists and they want it.
Yeah. What is there? If there's one piece of advice that you could give to parents right now, what would it be?
I would suggest that in terms of this fear of your kid being left out, which is the most common thing I think we both hear, to focus less on what your kids are going to miss out on if you don't give them smartphones and social media, and focus more on what they will miss out on if we do give them smartphones and social media, which is to say having a real life.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would say, picking up on what you said before, no parent wants their kid to be alone. If you do this alone, it is hard. But if your kid has one or two other friends who are with them, now they're suddenly the kids who are out riding bicycles. They're going and getting ice cream while everybody else has to stay under supervision. So I would say my number one piece of advice to parents is talk to the parents of your kids' friends. You surely talk with them anyway. You've got them on texting and party pickup and things like that. So find a small group and do it together. I'm a social psychologist. The whole key to this, the whole thing, is that we're stuck in a collective action trap. Anyone who goes out is missing out on the connections. But if a few of us go out, then they're actually having fun, and then others see it, and then they join. So do it together, and it becomes fun.
Excellent advice. My advice would be to go out and pick up this book. Amazing Generation. It's available now.